Good morning, lovely Substack friends. My dog, I've got to show you this. Charlie has just stolen one of the blankets from his bed because he wants my attention. And like any 3-year-old, 2-year-old, he's actually 14 months now. And look at him. Hello, Dr. Hazala. And hello, Ben and Joan. Look at him. Look at that boy. He's quite mad. You can see that our lawn is now starting to suffer the effects of the terrible heat wave we're going through. We're having temperatures in the high 30s now. We're going to get 40 on Sunday. Charlie is going to wake up the neighbours. He's a naughty boy. Charlie, I got up so early this morning. We're sleeping with the windows wide open because it's the only way to cool down. And it's great. We live in this beautiful old house here, you can see here. And we've got very, very thick stone walls. So what we do is we open up everything from the loft right up in the rafters, right downstairs, and it creates wind tunnels up the stairs, and it cools down the entire house. There's my boy again. So it's lovely. So, and even, look at this, even my pansies are surviving the heat wave. It's judicious watering. You can see the umbrella there, and you can see here I have got coverage over the sensitive vegetables. We got advice on this, and apparently you can leave your tomatoes and you can leave all of your Mediterranean vegetables in this very high heat. So we've just covered the lettuce, and what else have we covered? Gosh, rhubarb and strawberries. We've got the sweetest strawberries. If you have never tasted a strawberry that's been grown in the ground, I urge you to, because it's kind of, these are literally, we get good strawberries here in France, but these are, they actually blow your mind. They're warm when you eat them, when you pick them straight, and they explode in the mouth as this extraordinary sweetness. I can't describe it. So please, I do recommend grow some strawberries. Even if you're growing them in a pot on a balcony, just put it in earth and don't just get them in a plastic packet in the shops. And that's the way to really find out what a strawberry tastes like. I was wondering what to talk about today, and I had a good idea. Well, first of all, I want you to tell you some very, very good news. When we lived in Hong Kong, we lived there for 23 years, and everyone in Hong Kong has a helper. So this is very much, if you want a social life, you have to have and you've got children, you have to have a helper, because the cost of babysitting is so high. And the cost of employing a helper is really very low. Now, that sounds exploitative, but it's not. Because, in fact, the salary that you pay your helper is riches in the Philippines. Well, we had a Filipino helper, Zell. Florizel, her name is, but we called her Zell or Zelly. Now, our Zell, she was with us for many, many, many years. We paid her a big bonus, as was required by law when we left Hong Kong. And she had always been a great cook, and particularly, of course, of Filipino food. And I had always said to her, you know, Zell, when you finally go back to the Philippines, you should basically be, you should be a chef or a cook. And Zell couldn't bear the thought of leaving us. My girls had grown up with her and they adored her. And she loved it. And one day I had said to her, Zelly, if you had the choice and, you didn't have to worry about money, where would you be? Would you be in Hong Kong or would you be in the Philippines? And she said to me, I'd be here. And that's our Zell. She's adorable. I will post a photo of her. Anyway, when we finally left Hong Kong, which was in the middle of COVID, my husband had basically been let go from his job. He was very senior management with a big supermarket chain, and basically they just wanted they got rid of everybody who wasn't German. How's that? And my husband, being French, didn't quite cut the mustard for them. He was the last one that was let go. But it was very hard, obviously, in the middle of COVID to get a new job, particularly at senior management level. And we had bought this house in France. So we thought, you know, let's just get to France and we'll retire early. So we retired 4 years early. It was not great for my little business. I basically was a publisher and of the children's books that I wrote, and I used to tour around Asia. In fact, I used to tour in England and I used to tour in Australia. And that very year that COVID broke out, I was invited to New York, and I was going to be reading my Tale of Run Run Rat to kids at not the Asia Society, it was at the China Association. I had visited there the year before, and I tell you what, visiting New York, it was like I was so excited. I felt like my feet were above the ground. Um, I sent I sent my poor family so many hundreds of photos because I just photographed everything. You know, there were dog walkers with multiple dogs, and there was, of course, Central Park, and there was me with the statue of Hans Christian Andersen in Central Park. And I adored New York. I would live there in a heartbeat, provided the Trump Tower wasn't there, of course. And well, I mean, you know, we'll probably never get rid of that, but maybe they'll rename it. Wouldn't that be fun? They could call it the Obama Tower. I think that would be the appropriate name for that tower. And anyway, so yes, I had a lot of success with these books. And I had actually printed or reprinted my books on the premise that because I'd just finished my series called The Chinese Calendar Tales. There were 13 books in the series, and I know you're going to say, oh no, there are only 12. Charlie, there are only 12 animals in the Chinese zodiac, and you would be right. But there's a bit of a history behind it. I'll tell you all one day. I ended up with a book about a panda, The Tale of Pinyin Panda, where that tale told the story of Lord Buddha's race and why the panda is not in the zodiac. Because when you think about it, a panda is a rather iconic, the iconic Chinese animal. And okay, I'll tell you why the panda is not. I won't tell you about the story because that'll spoil it for you when you all rush immediately to purchase my Chinese calendar tales. Um, but the real reason, it's really interesting. A lot of the Chinese folk tales and so forth, they were written very, you know, in say the Song or the Tang dynasties, and during this time, the people in the big cities, that's where the folk law was being written. These were the educated people, and they were writing the stories, and that's when the story of Lord Buddha's race was written. And at that time, there was no contact with Yunnan province high up in the hills, where pandas, being very shy beasts, would occasionally be spotted by someone, you know, a farmer in the mountains or in the hills, and he might tell his friends or his family, but of course there was no way. They were illiterate. They wouldn't have been writing to anybody about these pandas, and the news wouldn't filter out. And of course, there was no television, there were no videos, and there was most certainly no Substack. So, so the news of the pandas remained limited to the people of the mountains in Yunnan province, which is where they were, and nobody knew about pandas. What they did know about was tigers, because tigers were being brought along the Silk Road from India into China. And they knew about, well, all the animals really. I mean, you know, there was, I'll tell you in sequence, there was the rat. I am actually Year of the Rat, and I'm typical Year of the Rat. I'm a very ambitious person, and I get bored if I'm not doing anything. So, yeah, typical rat. So there was the rat. I'll tell you the verse. The cunning rat. No, how does it start? Oh gosh, I'm going to forget it. This is ridiculous. The cunning rat leaped nimbly on the shoulders of the ox. Okay, so the ox is the next one. One of my daughters is an ox. Send me a heart when I get to your Chinese animal. Okay, the tiger swam against the tide. The rabbit hopped on rocks. Now, if you're in Vietnam, in the Year of the Rabbit, it's the Year of the Cat. And remember that song, In the Year of the Cat, Yeah? I always used to think, hang on, how could there be a year of the cat? It's only the year of the rabbit. But the reason why was because it was Chris Cross, I think it was, who sang that song. And he had obviously been in Vietnam, where the year of the rabbit is the year of the cat. So the rabbit hopped on rocks. The dragon saw a human and made gentle rain to cool him. My other daughter is a dragon, and boy, is she fabulous. She was actually born on the cusp of Gemini and Cancer on the day of the summer solstice, and she was year of the super dragon. So we're looking forward to seeing what she does with her life. She's remarkable. She's a gorgeous girl, and you would all love her. Anyway, so the dragon saw a human and made gentle rain to cool him. Yeah, the cunning snake. No, oh gosh, this is terrible. This is what you call 6:20 in the morning. Okay. The cunning rat jumped nimbly on the shoulders of the ox. The tiger swam against the tide. The rabbit hopped on rocks. The dragon saw a human and made gentle rain to cool him. Okay, I've got the words wrong because I'm using the word cunning again, and I never do that. Oh, what year was 1967? Joan, what you do is keep adding 12. So 67, and then it's 79, and then it's 91 and 12, because then we get into the years I know. 91 and 12 is 2003, and 12 is 2015, is it's next year. So that's your year. So 2015, you are the year of the Bélier, of the sheep, the year of the ram or the sheep, which means, Joan, that you are a very artistic and gentle person. These are the characteristics of someone born in the year of the ram, sheep, goat. Okay, you are you're going to be gentle. You're going to be very artistic. You don't want to stand out, and you don't want to be a leader, but you would rather, for example, sit in the background and write poetry or take photographs or paint. They're lovely people. And my tale of Rodney Ram is rather fun. That one I set in Guangzhou, in Guangdong province, because in fact there's a legend of the 5 rams of Guangzhou. And in all of my books, they're written in rhyme and they're for kids. Ah, Joan, are you? Good girl, good girl. What's it about? Is it fact or fiction? Tell us all. And just give us a one-line subject matter. What's it about? Isn't it lovely that here on Substack we're all in contact with other writers? Anyway, so listen, I'm going to tell you. So after I won't do the poem because it's screwing with my head at the moment. You've got the snake, and then you've got the horse, and the snake hid in the horse's hoof to fool him, right? I love the year of the horse. That's a fabulous one. That one, I've got The Tale of a Dark Horse, and it's about the Silk Road, the development of the Silk Road in China. And then after the horse, you've got the ram, and then you've got the monkey, and then you've got the rooster. That book I launched in Shanghai at the Shanghai Lit Fest, and my God, oh my gosh. Now, this is what happens when you've got a dog that wants attention. Charlie, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, Joan, good on you. Wow. Joan, I mean, I was just calling my dog Joan. Charlie, take that paper and tear it up on the lawn. The way Charlie's running means he thinks he's got something that's illegal for him. And I'm going to let him rip it up because there's nothing he likes better than ripping cardboard boxes. This dog is very, very cheap to entertain because when we give him classic toys, we'll throw them to him. Basset hounds are lazy and they're also stubborn. So when we throw him something, he's not like a sort of a collie that will run and run for miles and miles. He's, hello, Brandon. Year of the Dragon is very powerful indeed. Do you know that dragons, it's really interesting, dragons in Chinese mythology are fantastic. You're not like sort of, the Western concept of the dragon being this evil beast that needs to be slain. You would never do that with a Chinese dragon. They basically, dragons have close relationships with the humans. They are obviously immensely powerful, but they're also noble, very noble. Joan, that was very rude. Poor Brandon. Are you saying he's the year of the beagle? Oh, no, I see what you're doing. No, he's not a beagle. He's a basset hound. He looks like a beagle. Look at him. He's having so much fun. No, he is a basset hound. Look him up. You can see he's very long and he's got a white tip to his tail. Now, that is because they were bred in France, I will have you know, not England. Most people think that basset hounds are English because the English fell in love with basset hounds and started breeding them in great numbers. But basset hounds are of French origin and they were bred to hunt rabbits, which kind of makes sense because if you look at him, if he's running through tall grass, that little white tip on the tail, you can always see where your dog is. Charlie, what are you doing? Listen, you can't do that. You can't just rip that paper and then just say, huh, I'm finished, I'm done. He is very chic, thank you very much. He is très chic. Actually, he's not chic, he's a little monster. You've got to read my Charlie Chronicles, okay? And if you read them and you like them, please would you heart? And would you make a comment and would you restack? Because I can be funny. And when you talk about Charlie, it's very hard not to be funny because that dog has all day. Um, if you ain't got a dog yet, go and get a dog. They are characters. I know that cats can be characters too. I've got internet connection unstable. I'm warning you all. I think I'm probably all right though. No, my oldest daughter is a cat person, and she is. I think you can divide human beings between cats and dogs, not just whether they're cat people and dog people, but whether they're characters. Ah, Brandon, you have two cats. Okay. What sort of cats are they? What sort of cats does Brandon have? Who is not a beagle? Haha. My daughter adores cats. I was never a cat person until I met some cats of friends of mine that were kind of like cat dogs. Calico. Oh, how pretty. Oh, how pretty. Lovely. What are their names, Brandon? Come on, tell us all. I want the names of the cats. Oh, can you hear that sound of ripping in the background? Do you want to know who that is? Let's creep in and have a look at what he's doing. That's my little rat bag. And he is tearing things. Hang on. He's in the kitchen. Zoe and Zach. I love that. Oh, that's so cute. Great. And I like that it's alliterates Zoe and Zach. Look at this boy. Look at him. Charlie, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, that poor piece of cardboard. It's not cardboard, it's paper. He's so funny. I love that boy. This is his bed. These are his bedclothes, and we have to actually hide them after he gets up because otherwise he takes them out to the lawn and they get all muddy and dirty. So I hide them. Now that's hidden. And I have to tell you that he also took out his first blanket, which is beside the paper over there, but I'm not going to pick it up now because I'll lose reception with you guys. I love that boy. I love that little boy. Whoa. Anyway, so yes, no. Okay, so Hong Kong. I always digress. As you know, if you read my columns, that's what I'm going to have on my tombstone, but I digress. Let's go right back to the point where we were talking about living in Hong Kong and we had a helper and the good news. Okay, so our helper, Florizel, was a great cook. And she was very upset when we left Hong Kong because she loved us and we loved her. And I tried to get her a new job because she'd actually been very ill. She'd had cancer. And I had looked after her in hospital and I wanted her to stay in Hong Kong and work for someone else so that she could go to her hospital reviews because hospital care in the Philippines is pretty scary, as in ching ching, you see the dollar signs in the eyes. And I wanted her to have the magnificent free healthcare in Hong Kong. And guess what? Country, and it's not a communist country. It's in fact a materialist society, and yet they have healthcare. Country who think that having a proper national health system where people are covered properly are all socialist and communist countries. Well, no, not. These are, well, Hong Kong's not democratic at all now. But It is certainly a free market place, except to the extent that it's controlled by the guys up in Beijing now. Anyway, again, I digress. So Zelly, in the end, we couldn't get her to stay. She said, "No, if I'm not with you, I'm with my family." So, which I understand. No, Joan, I don't think so. I think under Donald Dumpster, America's backsliding. You are first world, of course you are. Of course you're first world, but I think there's kind of first world caring and first world not uncaring, and I think the American states at the moment, and I'm not talking about you as individuals, I'm talking about the administration, and I'm talking about the way society is structured. You are first world, don't give a shit, and here in France, we are first world. The whole system is there to look after people. There's a huge safety net. Some people say it's too huge a safety net, but my God, is it easy to live here. You know, I was ill, very ill last year, and we barely paid a penny for my healthcare. Wouldn't that be nice? We're actually, my husband and I, we were watching ER, reruns of ER on Netflix. I'd never seen ER before. I love it. I mean, George Clooney has always been on my list. I've always said to my husband, if he hadn't snapped me up, I would have snapped up George Clooney before he met Amal. And I think he's adorable. But here I am again. Um, and of course, George Clooney would have snapped up me. Um, he's cute. But gee, we're loving it. ER still holds up. Yeah, I know, Brandon. Watch it again. Watch it again. Um, I think it was the first of the series that were based in hospitals, and it still holds up. Boy, it holds up. Not that I was ever a nurse in a hospital or a doctor in a hospital, but it is still riveting, and we absolutely love it. And we're watching one a night before we turn the television off and we read. But yeah, it becomes very clear in ER, what the American healthcare system's like, and it just horrifies us. We sit there and we think, oh my God, only in the USA. It is shocking the way people have to decide that they can't give their daughter, they can't afford their daughter their treatment for their, asthma, which is going to kill them. I mean, really, guys? Really? And then you have this astonishing wealth gap, and you've got these bastards at the top who could pay for the health care of every single American themselves. Elon Musk, for example. Hey? Elon Musk could cover the health care of every single American. And look what he's doing with his money. Anyway, don't get me angry. The Swifts have started. Oh, I love the Swifts. And they're still here despite the heat wave. We think that the babies are still alive. I'll show you where they are. And I will get back to my Filipino helper. Hang on. Here we are. So up here, this is the jeep that used to be attached to the house, but when we bought the house, it had already been sold. But you can see there's some little gaps there. There's baby birds in there and along here. And the Swifts are up early, and obviously the babies are surviving the heat wave so far. Hi, Sheila. Anyway, so back to, our Filipino helper, Zell. Zell went back to the Philippines, and she was very depressed about this because she loved us. And she cries when she's on the phone with us, but not so much anymore, actually, because do you know what that girl did? Within months, she had set up just a little food stall outside her house. Thank you, Brandon. I put so much, I put a lot of work into this garden, a great deal of work, and it's worth it. Watering it viciously. Can you see where the hose is at the back there? There's a well there. We are gifted to have a well. So lucky. Because I can, even in a heat wave, even if there's a general hose pump ban, I am allowed to use that on the garden. So what I do is I never water the grass, but I water the garden beds, because the grass, if it dies, it will come back quickly, but the garden beds won't. And the garden beds, for me, I can justify this by saying, look, I'm sorry, these are the birds and the bees and all of the, the rich network of animals that grow if you have a lush garden. And what I'm aiming at here is an English cottage garden. And I've pretty much achieved it now. I've been working on this for 6 years. I'll show you, if you have a little look here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't that incredible? Oh, that is the biggest slug I have, isn't it? Extraordinary. Wow. Oh, it's lovely. That is amazing. I'm going to have to lift it off before Charlie sees it. Charlie comes up on here. He will run up here. You can see his well-worn path, and he will probably swallow that poor little slug. On the other hand, I don't really like slugs in the garden. What I'll probably do is toss him over the fence. Now, you will say, you can't do that to your neighbour, and I will say to you, yes, I can, because the neighbour fence there, he has nothing to his garden, and it's a wilderness. But have a look at this. Do you like the colour contrast? This is my purple and blue and white bed. Here are my herbs. This here is a artichoke. It looks unhappy, but it's only because of the heat. Apparently what plants do in the heat is that they will withdraw their cells from the surface, which is why they go flop. And you can see up there that the silver beech, the leaves have gone flop. But it just means that they're keeping the moisture inside so they don't lose moisture. I have strawberries. I have got my citrus trees. We want to be self-sufficient, as you can tell. And yeah, look at that. Okay, I won't show you much more on this at the moment. My jasmine is still lovely, another raspberry plant. But over here in the veggie garden, we have everything. We've got, I've even got, at the moment, I'm growing Brussels sprouts. I've left one broccoli to go to seed. We've eaten all the broccoli. I'm letting it go to seed so I can shake it into a paper bag, and then I can plant those seeds so it will be perpetual. I've got lettuces, I have got celery, I've got strawberries, I've got rhubarb, I have many tomato plants, I have loads of potatoes, I have carrots, I've got aubergines or eggplants, and I've got peppers. I've got a yellow, a red and an orange, because I don't really like green peppers, not a big fan. Anyway, can you hear all of the birds? Isn't it lovely? Come to France, people. It is a country garden, Joan. It is. You know, when we got this place, look, the sun is just catching. So that's facing west. Can you see it catching the pines? It's just coming up now. Okay, good night, Brandon. You sleep well. You sleep well and have a lovely day tomorrow. Remember, life is beautiful still. It is, isn't it, Joan? Oof. Good night. Nighty-night, Brandon. Okay, I'm going to wave goodbye. Bye, Brandon. It was very, very nice to meet you. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you again. I do these early mornings quite regularly. It's actually a great way to keep up with people, though I do digress a lot. Brandon, you can find out if you listen to the tape what happened to Zelly. I'll tell you briefly, she set up her own business. A copper beech. No, it's a silver beech, I think. I think it's a silver beech. It's not... I think copper beeches have that copper colour in autumn, but no, this is a silver beech. We had one in the garden in Tasmania where I grew up, would you believe? Huh. So, I'm going to have to stop Charlie from this because it's going to wake the neighbours. Wait there. Charlie, come here, now. Come on, come on. Charlie, now. Charlie, come here. Charlie, come here. Come on, good boy. Charlie, come here, good boy. Good boy, good boy, good boy. I love this boy. Hi, Sammy. Look, that's my Charlie. Yeah, well, they might. They're actually English. A lot of my neighbours. And I have a problem with English women of a certain age because they think I'm too much. They've told me that I am apparently too much. And I would love to say to them, actually, you know what? You're not enough. But, and as I've mentioned before, I know, as I've mentioned before, we need to have a club for all people who are considered too much. We'll have the too much club. You know, if people think that you're too much. I think it's because I'm outspoken and I am opinionated, and I will get angry about causes that about what's happening in America, for example. Okay, so stay focused. Charlie has gone back in the kitchen at the moment. He will arrive. I've just received a text from my daughter in Australia who has just started off a Spotify account, and I'm going to talk about it in an article. Oh, it's called Where Your Magic Begins. So if you want to meet my daughter, she's there. My daughter, she's a fairy. She wanted to be a fairy princess. Oh my gosh, The Power of Affirmations is her very first episode. Please have a look at it because, oh, it's just so wonderful. I'm so proud of her. She's a teacher. Whoosh. It is green, even though we're in the middle of a heat wave. Stay focused. What is your name? Charlie, stop that. I think what's happened is that Charlie can see someone getting up in the village. And so he's a guard dog. Stay focused. I want your first name because I can't say hi, stay focused. I'd like to say hello. Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn. Hello. I'm Sarah. I love this way of meeting new friends. It's really good. I can't tell you what this has done to my life, this Substack. It has, and with the technology we have, I used to think I could only write for kids, and now I know I can write for adults, and that's been great. Now I know I can sit down and I can write a book for adults. I don't know why I thought that. I think because my inner child is very much alive and well, but also I grew up very, very uncomfortable with my peers, and in Australia, I didn't know how to be amongst my peers. I was good with young people and good with old people, but I couldn't do my peers. And to be honest, that lasted right the way through to my 40s. Can you believe that? And then after that, I understood that the way to get on with your peers is to be completely yourself and not to give a shit what anyone else thinks. And as soon as that happens, everything's fine. So I've said that to my girls, who naturally went through anxiety in their teens, and they still have anxiety now from time to time, but particularly my younger daughter, who is very much like me, very, very much like me in terms of the way her mind works. And it's that secret. Don't give a shit. They would have turned you into a boy these days. Who's they? Oh dear. No, they wouldn't have. No. I love being a woman. I really do. Although I absolutely despise what happens to women around the world. My big cause is the women in Afghanistan, I have to tell you that. And so you'll see when you read my Substack that when people start finally pay subscribing to me, and I understand if people can't afford it, but when people do pay subscribe, 15% at the moment of the subscriptions are donated to, it's called Safe Path Prosperity, and this is a charity that's very well recognised that actually gets to women and girls in Afghanistan. Just going to have some coffee. This mug, by the way, was made for me by, I think it was my Beatrice. You can see the paint's worn off, back when she was at school many years ago, and she's just turned 29. But this is a beloved mug. So my helper, I'm going to tell you quickly because I can hear my husband has got up and he's opening all the windows in the top of the house. She has set up her own business now. She started with a little food stall outside her house, which is in a village in the Philippines. People really love the food. And then suddenly she got this order from the local government for 2,000 hamburgers, I think it was, and her entire family was making these burgers in a long row inside their house. Her dad had been the local principal of the school and a farmer, and so they were like the big family in the village. And Zell was remarkable and is remarkable. She's a saint, actually. I used to call her St. Francis of Assisi because she was so good with dogs. She's also good with plants. Anything she touches, she's just like she's a ray of sunshine. She's absolutely, completely honest. She's very religious, and she just smiles all the time. She's got dimples there and there. And the girls adored her, and they still do. So Zelly thought that when she went back to the Philippines, we'd never have any contact with her again, which is rubbish because basically we have long chats every single month, and I've just come off a long. No. Remember, Trump only eats junk food. Yeah, whereas Zell's food is delicious. But anyway, so she has set up now this food stall. No, it was 2,000 hamburgers, 2,000. Anyway, so this has gone on and on, and now she's moved into proper premises in Bugawai, which is basically near her little town. So Bugawai is like the main city of Cagayan in the north of the Philippines, and she's basically got a professional shop with seats outside. And when I talked to her, a whole bunch of school kids had come in, and this girl is making money. And she told me with great pride that she's going to fly down to Hong Kong to see her friends down there. And I'm thinking, yes, I want her to come and stay with us here in France. I would love that. French immigration might be very dodgy with her because the trouble is they think, any Filipino person on a plane coming into France, they're going to basically, go local and get a job and blah-de-da, or they won't keep to the terms of their visa. But I think that if she's becomes this businesswoman and she's got all those, the accoutrements of a businesswoman, she will easily be able to say to immigration, look, I'm just visiting friends, and then she'll stay with us. And I said to her this morning, you will stay with us and you will not lift a finger. Anyway, I wanted to tell everyone that. It's just such a success story, and I'm terribly proud of her, and it shows that good people get good things, which is what my husband said to me when we first met and we fell madly in love. And he said, good things happen to good people. And I want you all to remember that. Good things are going to happen to you because you are good people. And on that note, I am going to finish my coffee and I'm going to get myself some breakfast and get my husband some breakfast and get on with my day. We've got the gallery opening on Saturday night. We are promised, can you believe this? We are promised a temperature at 6:30 in the evening of 33 degrees Celsius. I know it's going to be very hot. I have yet to work out what I'm going to wear, but I have to write my speech because I am now the galleriste. I manage and run the gallery, and my darling friends who are artists will be there. And I'm going to, again, write a Substack article on that because I want you guys to see the paintings and the sculptures and the things that I am exhibiting in the gallery. Anyway, I will. Marilyn, I hope you enjoy your Saturday evening because for me, Saturday, thank you. Oh, you mean the launch. Thank you. Thank you. I will. I will. I think that art comes from the soul. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't come from the brain, it comes from the soul. And we all know this because, when I'm writing, particularly if I'm writing fiction, I go somewhere else in my brain. Obviously, they say in the right brain, but I go somewhere else and time goes past. That was a pigeon. Time goes past without any knowledge that it's happening. And so it's happening up there, where the soul is. If you haven't subscribed yet, have a look at someone called Julius Cross, Cross, because he is a scientist and who is writing essays on the fact that science has proved the existence of the soul. So again, on that happy note, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for being with me. Don't forget, please, to comment and restack, because hearting isn't enough for the algorithm. You've got to make a comment, even if it's like, I really enjoyed the talk, whatever. And then restack. If you can do that for me, I would be hugely grateful. Okay, blowing you a kiss from me in France to you guys in America. Bye.